Now at 10 and streaming on crossroadstoday.com, Goliad County Commissioners want more input on the of the Fannin Monument.
State legislatures are considering a new tax for Victoria County that could be used for the city's community center expansion project.
Plus, a Victoria native is making a name for herself in the sport of auto racing. Find out when you can catch a new docu-series featuring her ride.
We're very excited in the weather office because we have a very good chance of getting some significant rain coming up from the southwest by the time we get to Thursday. We'll be talking about that.
And Victoria East and West women's soccer ready for playoff action tomorrow night. We'll find out who they play and hear from some of the players and coaches later in sports.
You're watching 25 News Now at 10. Good evening and thank you for joining us. I'm Shauna Curry.
And I'm Don Brubaker.
The choice to sell a piece of local history in Goliad is still pending, and county commissioners are choosing to take time before reaching a final decision.
25 News Now reporter Trenton Whiting is keeping up with this story, and he joins us now with more details. Trenton?
Shauna, Don, thank you. The proposed sale of the historic monument is a divisive topic in Goliad, but the residents will at least get their chance to speak their minds before the decision is made. The conversation surrounding the sale of the Fannin Memorial Monument in Goliad is officially entering the public comment stage. The county is deciding whether or not to sell the marker to the Texas Historical Commission, and some residents are worried the process is moving too quickly without knowing enough information.
They really need to come in and have a true survey done of it to figure out what damage has been done and what needs to be repaired.
The county chose during the commissioners' March 10th meeting to allow residents to discuss before moving forward with the sale. But there were no town halls before the item reached the agenda again during their March 24th meeting. Goliad residents want to be heard, and some think the THC could do a better job of taking care of the monument than the county, but others don't support the sale.
The monument and the land were already purchased, and they were purchased with the lives and the blood of the men who died and are buried here.
The county's order to hold off completing the $1 million sale until the public can comment is still active. The item made the agenda only to hear a report from THC's executive director, Joseph Bell. Scott McMahon, site manager for the Presidio of La Bahia and THC rep, says the monument could benefit from the agency's resources.
We're kind of situated to better take care of that because of our background, because of the resources we have, because of the experience that we have.
The commissioners will have to add an agenda item to move forward with the next step, which is to decide when and where these town halls will meet and who will be on a committee to lead the discussion. County Judge Mike Bennett says there's no rush on the sale, and the county is committed to hearing out the residents before completing it. Trenton Whiting, KAVU TV, 25 News Now.
Victoria County Commissioners Court passes a resolution in support of the City of Victoria's Community Center expansion project. The county could also help fund part of the project. Victoria County is pursuing a new hotel occupancy tax through the Texas legislature. Victoria County Judge Ben Zeller says this tax would help with the improvements at the Victoria Regional Airport. But if the county hotel tax passes the legislature, the county plans to allocate $100,000 a year from that tax to the city's community center expansion project over a 20-year period. A decision from the legislature should be known by the end of May. And Victoria County Commissioners approve a more than $138,000 donation from Gulf Bend Center to buy 4 mental health peace officer vehicles for the Sheriff's Office. The Sheriff's Office will use the 4 Ford Explorer vehicles in its task force operations. Sheriff Justin Marr explained the task force pairs a Gulf Bend mental health counselor with deputies on calls involving possible mental health situations. Sheriff Marr says the donation is a huge benefit to his team.
It's a great partnership we have, and we're glad that they were able to help out, and this will just strengthen that task force, that mental health unit. Yeah, I think it's a positive thing all the way around.
Sheriff Marr says the vehicles will replace the current task force vehicles that have high mileage and are starting to break down.
A man in Victoria faces charges of aggravated sexual assault of a child. Victoria County deputies also arrested 22-year-old Curtis Huerta on a charge of indecency of a child sexual contact. The charges are from Goliad County. Huerta turned himself in to his probation officer on Bridge Street in Victoria. Deputies responded and took him into custody. Huerta is in the Victoria County Jail in lieu of $30,000 bond. DeWitt County Commissioners put in a burn ban Monday. The 90-day ban prohibits outdoor burning in DeWitt County until June 22nd. People who violate the ban can be fined up to $500.
Well, we might be getting a little bit of relief from these dry conditions this week in the way of rain, which would be nice.
We'll take more than a little. We'll take a lot of relief. And let's go to Mac Pettis with a first look at the forecast. But before that, Mac, we may have some fog.
Yes, I do believe that we will have fog overnight and into tomorrow morning, so drive carefully early in the morning. Otherwise, we're excited because moisture is finally coming to our area. It's going to be an interesting development, a storm developing over northern Mexico, rolling up into our area, giving us the first significant rainfall. And I'm talking 1 to 2 inches, maybe more than that. Since mid-January, okay? That's the last time we had a heavy rain. And so we're looking for that to arrive Wednesday night into Thursday. We'll have all those details coming up in just a few minutes. Back to you, Don, Shauna.
A state of emergency and mandatory evacuations in the South tonight. Tornadoes, dangerous storms, and wildfires from Texas to the East Coast. Large fires destroying thousands of acres in North and South Carolina.
The National Guard was called in to assist. 2 tornadoes, including a confirmed EF1, touched down near Rolling Fork, Mississippi. That same area was devastated by a deadly EF4 just 2 years ago.
Tonight, multiple out-of-control wildfires raging along the East Coast, burning thousands of acres, forcing people from their homes.
So we've requested resources from all over the country.
The Black Cove Complex fire scorching more than 7.5 square miles southeast of Asheville, North Carolina. The area still hurting from Hurricane Helene. Across the border in Greenville County, South Carolina, a National Guard Chinook helicopter dropping water on the Table Rock Complex fires, now more than 3 square miles. And in New Jersey's Wharton State Forest over the weekend, firefighters battling the California branch fire that scorched roughly 3.5 square miles before being fully contained. The fires all fueled by bone-dry conditions and gusty winds.
Diversity, equity, and inclusion is highly politicized, and there's no standard definition for what it is. We have more information about the term and the ongoing debate around Texas' DEI bans. Read this full Texas Tribune article at our website, crossroadstoday.com.
A new Amazon Prime docuseries set to premiere tomorrow features a former Victoria resident and Victoria East High School graduate. 20-year-old Sally Mott began her racing career here in Victoria with go-karts at just 8 years old. She started competing when she turned 15, then later transitioned from go-karts to race cars, which led her to winning a scholarship at the 2023 Mazda MX-5 Cup Shootout and earning sponsors for the 2024 season, allowing her to enter the series. Mott says her ultimate goal is to compete in a NASCAR Cup Series.
NASCAR is looking pretty promising, I would say. And, if I could get into ARCA and kind of work my way up, and the goal is to stamp my name in the history books and to really break those stereotypes of women can't drive, because and if I got an opportunity somewhere else, like obviously I'm going to take that every opportunity I can get. But I feel like NASCAR right now is where I'm going to be able to stamp my name in the history books. And, it's all about getting more women in the sport.
Mott also says she hopes to open a karting program for young girls in future years. The young racer says that she is thankful for the support shown by another local racer, Ben Keating. We spoke with Keating and asked what he thinks about Mott's rising career as a racer. He wrote, "Sally has done great. This series is one of the most competitive series in the world. Any top 10 finish in the MX-5 Cup is an accomplishment." Keating, who won the 24 Hours of Le Mans in 2022, went on to say he is proud of what Mott has accomplished and hopes she continues to find success. First to the Finish premieres tomorrow on Amazon Prime. Remember to subscribe to our YouTube channel, Crossroads Today. Hit the like button and click the notification bell. You can watch all of our news on YouTube as well. Stay with us. Coming up on 25 News now at 10, the FBI has launched a task force to investigate a wave of attacks on Tesla properties across multiple states, labeling the incidents as domestic terrorism.
Also ahead, a national security mishap involving top officials and a messaging app is sparking major concerns over sensitive information being leaked. President Trump held his third known cabinet meeting this morning with Elon Musk in attendance. During the meeting, Trump praised Musk, who is not a member of the Senate-confirmed cabinet, for his work heading the Department of Government Efficiency. President Trump told reporters a deal was reached with Ukraine for the U.S. to take control of some of their natural resources. He also shared optimism about the economy, announced plans for a new wave of tariffs, and spoke about an upcoming delegation to Greenland that will include the second lady.
Based on numbers that I was looking at 6 months ago, 7 months ago, I was very concerned about the economy. We're going to have something that's like nobody's ever seen before. We have numbers and we have job generation that I don't think we've ever seen before. See how it works out, but I think the economy is going to go through the roof.
Many cabinet members praised Trump and Musk for their cost-cutting measures. President Trump issued a proclamation invoking the Alien Enemies Act. Now, that is an 18th century law previously used when the U.S. was at war.
The law has been invoked 3 times before, most recently as a justification for some internments during World War II. Ivan Rodriguez reports on how the president is using the law now.
President Trump says this time the Alien Enemies Act is being used to target Venezuela's Tren de Aragua gang, declaring that its members have, in his words, unlawfully infiltrated the country. But the move to invoke the law is already facing legal challenges and was temporarily blocked last week by a federal judge. The Trump administration is using a sweeping wartime authority to quickly deport some migrants whom the U.S. has accused of being affiliated with the Venezuelan gang Tren de Aragua. Professor David Super says there are specific instances when the Alien Enemies Act can be legally invoked.
The Alien Enemies Act says that when the United States is in a declared war with another country, that the president may order nationals of that country removed from this country.
President Trump's proclamation states that Tren de Aragua, which his administration designated as a foreign terrorist organization, is, quote, perpetrating, attempting, and threatening an invasion or predatory incursion against the territory of the United States. Also, that this is occurring directly and at the direction, clandestine or otherwise, of the Maduro regime in Venezuela. But this argument is being challenged.
We're not at war with Venezuela. We haven't declared war on them. They haven't declared war on us.
Trump has said he wants to use the Alien Enemies Act because he believes it gives him tremendous authority, mainly because detentions and deportations under the law do not need to go through immigration courts.
They simply round people up, put them on a plane, and send them to El Salvador to be locked away, perhaps forever, without giving them a hearing.
Some families are insisting their loved ones are not members of Tren de Aragua and should have never been deported. For now, the legal battle continues over use of this wartime law. A federal appeals court heard arguments over the Trump administration's request to lift the federal judge's temporary block this afternoon. Appeals court Judge Patricia Millett said her view isn't about the legality of President Trump invoking the Alien Enemies Act, but how it's being implemented. Millett also said that people deported from the U.S. under the declaration had no opportunity to challenge their removal or the government's allegation that they are members of a Venezuelan gang before planes took them out of the country on March 14th. She said, quote, "There were plane loads of people. There were no procedures in place to notify people. Nazis got better treatment under the Alien Enemies Act." In Atlanta, I'm Ivan Rodriguez.
The FBI launches a task force to investigate a series of attacks targeting Tesla. The agency has been working to crack down on vandalism and destruction at Tesla cars, charging stations, and showrooms across at least 9 states. So far, the Justice Department has brought charges against several people accused of throwing Molotov cocktails at Tesla properties. FBI Director Christopher Wray has called the attacks on Tesla properties domestic terrorism. There's growing outrage tonight after highly sensitive war plans from the Trump administration were accidentally shared in an unsecured group chat. The White House confirmed that a Signal chat discussing a U.S. attack on the Houthis in Yemen mistakenly included the editor-in-chief of The Atlantic.
Now, officials say the messages, quote, appear to be authentic, unquote. Lawmakers on both sides of the aisle are now demanding a full investigation.
The White House acknowledging that Vice President J.D. Vance and members of President Trump's national security team shared detailed active war plans on a commercial messaging app, Signal. Their texts inadvertently included journalist Jeffrey Goldberg from The Atlantic, who reported that he was added to the group chat by National Security Advisor Mike Waltz.
My reaction was, I think I've discovered a massive security breach in the United States national security system.
The group discussing the possible strikes on Yemen, followed by operational details of forthcoming strikes, weapons deploying, and attacking sequencing. The attacks played out on Saturday. According to Goldberg, officials reacting after the strikes. Speaker Mike Johnson responding to this, saying the administration is addressing the inadvertent phone number that made it onto the messaging thread.
I'm not going to characterize what happened. Clearly, I think the administration has acknowledged it was a mistake, and they'll tighten up and make sure it doesn't happen again.
When asked if it is irresponsible for senior officials to discuss military plans in a group text run by a third-party app, Johnson says he does not believe National Security Advisor Mike Waltz or Secretary of Defense Pete Hegseth should be disciplined for the matter. Hegseth reacting to the situation.
Nobody was texting war plans, and that's all I have to say about that. Thank you.
But lawmakers on both sides of the aisle demanding a full investigation.
This kind of carelessness is how people get killed. It's how our enemies can take advantage of us. It's how our national security falls into danger.
Hours after the texts were reported, President Trump asked about the situation, saying he was unaware.
Well, it couldn't have been very effective because the attack was very effective. I can tell you that. I don't know anything about it. You're telling me about it for the first time.
Melissa Adon, ABC News, Los Angeles.
Well, good evening, everybody. We're looking at 65 degrees right about now. Winds are very calm and humidities are rising. And we got up to 88 today. It was kind of warm. Well above our 77. The thing was, we did get 0.11 of an inch of rain out of that little thing that came through last night. Some of you just completely missed it. I'm sure you slept through it. But you're not going to sleep through the one on Thursday. This is going to be a very good, significant rainfall for the area. We'll talk all about that coming up right after this. Last night, folks, we had a hailstorm that was for the record books. Listen to this. This is in Kerrville at about 8 o'clock last night, and it was coming down like bowling balls. I mean, they were 3 and 4 inch hail out of this thing that popped up in the hill country, rolled through Kerrville, left a trail of damage all the way down almost to San Antonio, and people are picking up. This was big enough to damage cars. It looked like, you know, ball-peen hammer all over the cars. So if you have friends in Kerrville, check on them, see how they're doing. Today we had a little bit of thunder shower activity develop again over the Kerrville area, but then once the sun went down, they all collapsed. We also had a list of storms that popped up in the mountains of northern Mexico, and they have collapsed as well. So neither of those two are moving in our direction. What is moving into our direction is actually going to be coming from the southwest of all places. This is not a cold front at all. It's not even a tropical storm, but it is an area of low pressure that's going to sort of skirt around, then come back up and really change our weather pattern to a wet weather pattern for a couple of days this week. Take a look at this. This is Monday. We go forward. Okay, Tuesday's kind of quiet. We'll go to Wednesday, and then all of a sudden you start seeing rain up and down the Rio Grande. So Laredo's going to be pretty happy about this. And then what happens Thursday? Well, it all moves up into the crossroads. You can see that Thursday and Friday we have a chance of getting the most significant rain we've had since mid-January. So we're pretty excited about this. We need it. Now, it's also going to be in the hill country and in our rivers, the watershed of our rivers, to come down the stream, and that's going to help our rivers as well. Then it pulls away on Friday. Interesting though, it leaves enough instability to get another little system coming through right about there, and that would be Sunday night into Monday. So all of a sudden we're back in the weather business, folks. We actually have a good chance of rain. Now here's Future Tracker to give you the amount of precipitation that it expects. Now here's Victoria, there's Austin. Notice that by the time we get to Thursday, we got a big bullseye right here, just south of San Antonio. That includes parts of the crossroads, and then we go all the way storm total. In other words, rain from between now and Friday, 1-2 inches of rain, maybe more. If we can get 3 inches of rain out of this, this is going to be interesting. Now, obviously, the question is, how much rain and at what point do we flood? Well, we've been so dry for so long, a lot of it is going to absorb and percolate. But we can get to a point where we overwhelm that and we start getting flooding. All I can tell you is you need to keep watching the weather through the end of this week, because I expect we're going to be seeing some big rain finally here in our area. Now tonight, because of the humidity rolling back in, it's going to increase, and we probably are going to see some fog. After midnight, it should start developing, and there you see that by sunrise we're looking at half-mile visibilities in many areas, up and down 59 and 77 as well. That should burn off by about 9 or 10 o'clock. Let's take a look at your forecast for those of you in Port Lavaca. Getting up to 83 with afternoon sun and a few clouds. In Cuero, getting up to almost 90. And then we take a look at our 7-day. We've got red flag alerts, not red flag, alert days for Thursday and Friday because of a significant amount of rain that's going to fall on those 2 days. Looks like the weekend should clear up in time, but the good stuff is that we're going to get rain around here. That's your 7-day forecast, reminding everybody we do have a QR code. We'd love for you to scan that. Put Crossroads Today on your phone. And now here's Maxwell with sports and kids that are going to the big time.
Yes, that is right, Mac. After the break, we're going to highlight a big-time signing here in the Crossroads and also break some breaking news that we just heard about 2 hours ago. I mentioned that and a couple other things coming up in sports. Crossroads. We had some breaking news earlier today with, again, from Edna, the athletic director and head coach. Jimmy Mitchell will not be back as the head coach and AD for the Cowboys. Again, this happened after he, again, was reassigned to a different position at a Board of Trustees meeting earlier today. For, again, Mitchell, he was there for the past 5 seasons, and he will be truly missed there in the Edna community. Now over to something a little bit more positive note here in the Crossroads, where we had one signing from the Lady Bobcat who put pen to paper.
Sierra did this. Sierra did this. Sierra and her family did this.
And as you saw right there, head coach Imperial Girls track coach Katie Green mentioned Sierra did this, and yes, she did. She put that pen to paper, announced her commitment to do track and field at Abilene Christian University earlier today. Tilly has already this season broke multiple records this season, breaking in the shot put and discus record twice this season so far. And after she shined, we asked her multiple questions about, was this her only school she went to, and why did she choose Abilene Christian at the end of the day?
It was either between Louisiana Tech or ACU. I would say the environment and the coaching staff. It really means a lot. It shows a lot of support and love for everybody coming out, and I'm just really thankful for everybody. I think I can bring a lot.
And there, like Tilly kind of said, she had a decision between Louisiana Tech or their Abilene Christian, but she did choose Abilene Christian at the end of the day. So congrats to Tilly. And again, her next meet there will be, again, the Texas Relays in Austin this Friday. And now over to some soccer action. Both Victoria East and West soccer teams are playing tomorrow, with West facing the McCallum Knights at 5:30 p.m. at Giddings High School, and East playing right after versus the Georgetown Eagles at 7:30. And right after West's game, I had a chance to talk again with both the teams here earlier today. I had a chance to talk with one of the players there for Victoria East and the head coach for West to see how they feel about tomorrow's matchups.
This is my first time for the 3 years that I've played varsity, so I think I'm just really excited for the outcome tomorrow. The better passes, quicker touches, and then long balls.
We're feeling pretty good about this. We've been working really hard all season to prepare for this moment. The girls are really just in sync. Our team chemistry is great on and off the field, so I think we have a real chance at this one.
And both Stoltz and McCall know they're excited for tomorrow's games and hoping they can get a big-time wins there tomorrow at Giddings High School to keep moving on into the playoffs. And now over to boys state powerlifting this past weekend, where we had great representation from a lot of the boys there from the Crossroads. First, Victoria West. They finished second in state with powerlifter Brody Flores, as you see right there, winning the 114-pound weight class, and again, squatting really well, doing everything else, and lifted a total of 1,230 pounds. In Victoria East, they had a big state champion as well in the strong heavyweight class. Jose Lugo lifting 2,070 pounds in total. Then Yorktown had a state champion as well, and Jonathan Guerrero in the 132-pound weight class, and he lifted a total of 2,365 total pounds. And now there are a lot of other names I didn't mention, but if you want to see everyone else that placed as well, go to, again, crossroadstoday.com and go under sports. You can see all the representations and placers that got there at states. Now over there to some University of Texas action, with first Texas women's basketball team beat Illinois 65-48 in the second round of the NCAA tournament. The Longhorns took care of business with sophomore Madison Booker leading the way with 20 points and 6 rebounds. And now Texas, they're going to focus their attention on their Sweet 16 opponent in Tennessee on Saturday. And then speaking of Texas on men's basketball side, they got eliminated in the first 4 matchup there in Dayton versus Xavier Musketeers. And oddly enough, the Musketeers head coach Sean Miller is going to be the Texas head coach now. Just funny how that is. But Miller is taking over there the past head coach Rodney Terry, again, after he was fired there last week. And Miller has been on many sports teams there in Arizona, Xavier, that we just see here, and a lot of other names as well. So we'll see if that works out for the University of Texas. That's going to do it here for sports. Don and Shauna, back to you.
Max, thank you, and stay with us. Coming up on 25 News now at 10. We'll take a last look at your weather. Plus, a mysterious monolith has appeared near Las Vegas, sparking questions about its origins and possible connection to cryptocurrency. What's behind this unexpected installation? We'll find out after the break.
Stay up. I'll let you do whatever you want. You were here. I don't know if you remember what movie it was for.
I remember perfectly.
It was with Matt Damon.
Yes.
Yeah. And your career survived.
My career survived.
overcome that.
Drivers north of Houston got quite the surprise this afternoon when a herd of cows and bulls took over the interstate. Crews jumped into action to round them up, but some were still hoofing it hours later. Unfortunately, one cow was hit, but no other injuries were reported. Traffic was backed up for a bit, but all lanes were able to open back up for rush hour. Officials think the animals made a break for it after a transport vehicle broke down. Just another day in Texas.
A mysterious monolith appeared last week at a public art display outside Las Vegas. The Nevada Museum of Art says the pillar was placed near the Seven Magic Mountains art display. Officials say it appeared Friday and was installed without permission. It measured about 12 feet tall and it contained a QR code that appeared to be connected to a cryptocurrency website. Let the mystery continue.
How do you do that without being noticed?
I don't know. How do you sneak that in? I have no idea. But when is the fog going to sneak in here?
Oh, the fog will be sneaking in here probably after 1 o'clock in the morning as the temperatures are cooling and the humidity is rising. So we may have some fog to deal with early in the morning, so do watch out for that. Other than that, the big news of the week is that on Thursday and Friday, we have a significant chance of getting some much needed rainfall here in the Crossroads and across Texas and in the hill country where our rivers begin.
All right. There was some really neat fog near Victoria's kind of unexplained statues on Zach Lenz Parkway this morning.
Oh,
so
this morning?
So I'll have to check tomorrow morning.
There you go.
Well, as Parks and Recreation's Leslie Knope says, we need to remember what's important in life. Friends, waffles, and work. That's never truer than on Tuesday for International Waffle Day. Waffles originated in Sweden in the 1600s. Back then, these flavored treats were eaten all times of the day, often with fruits and jams. A few hundred years later, the Belgians put their twist on waffles, making them thicker with deeper grids. But this breakfast favorite really hit its strides in the 1950s when the Eggo waffles were introduced to consumers. So tomorrow, dust off your waffle iron or just head out to your favorite breakfast place and enjoy a good waffle. Well, thanks for joining us.
Jimmy Kimmel Live starts